So, keeping your AI learning fresh. The objective of this video is to help business owners understand continuous learning and retraining. The key outcome you'll get out of this video, that you hopefully get out of this video, is you have an idea of how to create of what a retraining strategy and schedule is, and you'll probably have one defined by the end of this video. Starting with the learning problem. You trained your AI once, deployed it, thought you were done. But your AI doesn't keep learning, it's frozen in time. Meanwhile, the world changes, customer preferences evolve, seasonal patterns shift, competitors change, market conditions shift, economy fluctuates. Your AI makes decisions based on outdated patterns. Decisions get worse over time. This video is about keeping your AI learning continuously. And so I'll start off with an analogy. So you learned to drive when you were 16. You're still using those skills at 40, but you've learned thousands of new things, different roads, different cars, different weather, different driving conditions. You're not driving the same way as at 16. You've learned. Your AI needs the same. It needs to keep learning. Not just deployed once and frozen, it needs to be continuously improved. This video is about keeping your AI learning and adapting. And so why why AI needs continuous learning? We'll start off with model retraining. So what is model retraining? Model retraining is the process of updating an AI model with new data to maintain performance and adapt to changing conditions. Your AI was trained on historical data, but the world changes, customer preferences evolve, seasonal patterns shift, competitors change, the market conditions change, the economy fluctuates. And so if your AI doesn't learn, it becomes outdated. Think of it like a coach. A bad coach trained athletes for 2024 Olympics. Athletes keep the same strategy for 2026. The world has changed. The strategy no longer works. However, a good coach trains athletes for 2024, reviews what worked and what didn't, updates strategy for 2025, practices against new opponents, and continuously improves. And so your AI needs to be like a good coach, and so there are specific ways AI gets outdated, you know, starting off with seasonal shifts. Last summer, customers bought shorts. This summer, customers want athletic wear. Models still recommending shorts, hence it needs retraining on current season data. Second is trend changes. Last year, tech gadgets were popular. This year, sustainability is popular. The model still recommending gadgets, hence it needs retraining on current trends. Thirdly is economic changes. Last year, luxury items sold well. This year, budget items are popular due to maybe a recession. The model still targeting luxury, hence it needs retraining on new economy. Fourth are competitor changes. This year, your competitor lowered prices. The model still recommends your products, hence it needs retraining with new competitive landscape. Then lastly is is data distribution shift, where last year your customers were 18 to 35. Now they're growing so that they're in the 35 to 50 segment, right? And so the model is optimized for young customers, not as good for older customers. Hence, it needs retraining on a new customer mix. And so the impact of not retraining is on the first month after deployment, it could be 90, the accuracy could be at 90%. Third month, it could be 87%, which is a 3% drift. Sixth month, 84%, and the 12th month, 78%. And so after a year, accuracy is significantly worse. Revenue from recommendations drop 15 to 30%. Hence, the solution is to create a retraining schedule. Retrain, real-time recommendations daily, e-commerce weekly, B2B monthly, internal tools quarterly. And so the value that comes from this is and so the value that comes to this is it maintains 90, at least over 90% accuracy, with the ROI being anywhere from 10 to 15x due to reduction of churn along with acquiring new customers. And so on to what is a retraining strategy, right? A retraining strategy is a planned approach for regularly updating AI models, including frequency, process, validation, and deployment. So here's how to set up retraining for your AI. Step one, determine retraining frequency. Ask, how fast does my business change? Industries with fast change. Fashion, trends change weekly, so you'd have to retrain weekly. E-commerce, seasons, trends change monthly, hence you'd have to retrain monthly. Retail, competition is fierce, hence you should retrain weekly. Insurance, claims, patterns change, hence you retrain quarterly. Industries with slow change, healthcare, patterns are stable, hence you retrain quarterly or semi-annually. Legal, historical data is stable, hence you retrain annually. Real estate, markets are stable, hence you retrain quarterly, And so step two is collecting training data, all right? The new And so your new model needs new data. The question that is asked that you should ask yourself is how much new data between retrainings. The general rule, 10 to 20% new data triggers retraining. Trained on June, maybe 100,000 transactions. By August, 20,000 new transactions equals a 20% increase. Hence, you retrain with 120,000 transactions. Step three is validate before deploying. Train a new model, but don't deploy immediately. You test, does the new model perform better? Does it handle edge cases? Any performance regressions, only deploy if accuracy improves or at least doesn't degrade. Performance is acceptable or no unexpected behaviors are occurring. Then fourthly is you deploy and monitor. So you deploy the new model, monitor accuracy closely. If accuracy drops, you roll back to the previous model. If accuracy holds or improves, you keep the new model. Step five is you track changes. So you log what changed, new trends, seasonal shift, new customers, the model performance, the before and after, the business metrics before and after, and any issues encountered. For example, when you have a weekly retraining schedule, on Monday, maybe you collect the data, gather all transactions from last week, you find 10,000 new transactions. Tuesday, you train the model. train new model on 120,000 transactions, total transactions, um, with the 100,000 old ones, and this could take a couple of hours. On Wednesday, you validate them, you test the new model, you compare to previous model, you conduct an accuracy check, you you test the edge case, you know. On Thursday, you deploy if it's good, you replace the old model with new, then you monitor closely. On Friday, you review and optimize any issues, what trends did, and ask questions such as you ask yourself whether there are any issues occurring, what trends did we catch, what should we adjust next week. And so the value of doing this, it maintains over 90% accuracy, preventing 15 to 30% revenue loss. And so I'll use like a real world example, right? Such as the e-commerce search optimization. An e-commerce company had AI that ranked search results. They trained it once, deployed it, and then the first problem occurred where it went through seasonal blindness. Winter 2024, customers were searching boots. AI recommended winter boots, which was correct. The revenue from search was over 100K per month. On the summer of 2025, customers were searching boots. AI still recommended winter boots. Nobody wants winter boots in summer, and so the revenue from that month was 60K, which was 40% of the revenue less. And root cause was the model trained on winter data but never updated for summer. The second problem was new product inventory. January 2025, they added 500 new products. The model never trained on these products. The recommendations don't include the new products. And so the customers never see the new inventory. And the lost sales that came from that was 28,000 per month in that month. And the root cause of this was the model was trained on old inventory and it was never updated. Hence, the fix came when they they added weekly retraining, where they started retraining every Monday. On the first week of retraining, they retrain on summer data. The model learns summer preferences. Winter boots recommendations drop for summer searches. The summer boots recommendations increase, and the revenue recovers. It went back to 100K in that month, which was essentially back to normal. On the second month of retraining, the new products are now in training data. The recommendations include new products, customers discover new inventory, which also resulted in an increase to 120K. Month three of retraining, it caught competitive price changes. The model recommends our products better, another increase. Month six of retraining, it accumulated learnings. The model continuously improves, which also resulted in 150K, which was a 50% increase from where they had originally started, right? And so the value that was created here was the seasonal recovery was over 40K per month, which is 480K per year. New product visibility, which resulted in 20K per month. Competitive advantage, 25K. And so the ROI was essentially 10x. And so the lesson here is that continuous learning compounds. Small improvements every week become massive improvements over months. And the lessons learned here was continuous learning compounds. I repeat, small improvements weekly become huge over months for itself many times over. Not retraining costs way more. Not retraining lost 40K per month over 6 months, which was 240K. Retraining investment of 100K over that same period resulted in a million. What you now understand, and so what you should now understand is your AI stops learning if you start pre-training it. The world changes, your AI must keep up. The model degradation without retraining was 2 to 5% per month. Hence, the solution was regular retraining, weekly for fast moving industries, monthly for most, quarterly for stable industries, and the value from this was 10 to 50x ROI, which was typical.